All right. Go for the gusto. You're being recorded.
I'm honored, and I mean that sincerely, that all these people are here, and I think it's kind of neat that you've got friends and go back 40 years.
You bet.
Stop it. You old softy.
And I know that this is difficult for me. My parents marvel at it because they don't have friends that go back that far. But Phil and Richard and Rob and everybody else, it's amazing to me that I've known you that long. And that we've stayed in touch that long. And you know, we've all had our trials and tribulations, and some of us divorces and remarriages. But through it all, we've stayed friends. And Rob will never talk about this, but a few years ago we almost lost him. And you know, he's still here with us. And what's scary to me is the friends that we had now have children who are the age I was when we met. Phil has children in his 30s, Michael's in his 30s, the Clark children are in their 30s, and then when we moved here, we didn't know anybody.
Yes, you did.
No, sorry, tell a lie. Richard lived in Sydenham. Thank you.
And Lorraine.
Richard and Lorraine, yes. Silly me. And I have to say, one of my treasured moments every week is going to have tea with Richard and Lorraine every Friday afternoon. And people who know me say, and know Richard and know our background, say, oh, I guess you talk about motorcycles. And I said, you know what? We hardly ever talk about motorcycles. We talk about everything but motorcycles. Richard's a political junkie, so am I. So is Lorraine, for that matter. But when we moved here, other than knowing Richard and Lorraine, we didn't know anybody yet. Half of the people here are people we've met since we moved here, and that's an honor to me. Greg and Karen, we met because I bought parts in their motorcycle dealership, and then, this is a true story, I went in one day to buy a rain suit and came out with a motorcycle.
So you didn't check with me first.
No, I did.
Does he ever?
Yeah.
I did actually, and you see, Greg and Karen were used to wives coming in and killing deals. And so I told Barbara I had seen this motorcycle, and Barbara said, well, can I ride on the back of it? Because you don't have any motorcycles I can ride on the back of. I can't ride on the back of the Ducatis, and the other stuff are race bikes. So I said, yeah, you can ride on the back of it. Well, let's go down and have a look at it. So we went down and had a look at it, and I think Karen and Greg, who didn't know Barbara at all at the time, but knew me a little bit, thought, well, this deal's dead. You know, so we arrived, and Barbara said, well, can I sit on the bike? So Greg or Karen said, well, yes, because they ran the dealership between the two of them, and it was an evening, and they were both there. And Barbara got on the bike, and I got on this bike and sat on it, and then the look on Karen and Greg's face was, well, this deal's dead. So Barbara gets off, and in Barbara's own inimitable fashion, turns to me and said, you should buy this bike, and leaves. And, oh, there was a discussion about test rides. Which kind of put Greg and Karen on a spot, because for those who are not involved in motorcycling, you can understand that test rides are not very practical for obvious reasons.
You do it with cars. I figured you could do it with bikes.
Well, Barbara had just bought her Mercedes about 3 or 4 months previous, and the dealer had taken cars out of the showroom and put plates on it, and she'd been allowed to drive them around and all the rest of it. So Barbara just assumed you could do that with a motorcycle, because, you know, I hadn't ever involved her in buying a motorcycle. So there were furtive glances between Greg and Karen, and eventually the deal was made that I'd buy the motorcycle. If I didn't like it, I could bring it back after the weekend. But anyway, I just want to thank everybody for coming. Barbara and I have had a very difficult 3 months, as you know, and I'm honored that you're all here. Thank you very much.
Okay, let's go for heaven.
No, I'm not retiring from the military.
I have a present here for you, and as you unwrap it, I will explain what
We'll all take cover.
Some blister wrap.
Yeah, some blister wrap. I'll take the
this actually?
Just a wrap.
It's the bearskin rug one.
Isn't that a video?
It's a frame from the video.
Glass cleaning.
Of the bearskin rug video.
Right.
Right.
Morgan, I would like
Wow.
to present you with the Queen's Jubilee Medal for all the efforts you gave your motorcycle training.
Wow. Fantastic. And well deserved, I might add.
Yes.
I actually won this.
Awarded, you didn't win.
I was actually awarded this 7 years ago, and it's been
It was very unceremoniously sent to him in a brown paper envelope with no any kind of ceremony at all, and I wanted him to know how much it meant that he had been awarded this medal, so I wanted him to have this memento and a little bit of recognition for it.
Good.
Here, here.
Yes.
Yeah, that's just hang us up.
Step into the light, my man. Fantastic.
There we go, there we go.
Very good.
Now, I haven't asked anybody else to say anything official, but if anybody wants to say anything, well,
Still hold it straight.
Excellent.
cool. All right. So you can all carry on with your drinking and eating, and the sous chef and I will. I'm the sous chef.
Okay, Barbara, you want to take over this thing? My arms are getting tired. How do you stop it?